Hello everyone, Terminator Fan 1984 here, and welcome back to Sail and Sink Simulator here on Roblox. As I can tell, we're here at Industrial Island on the crane ship doing another scrapping video. But we're not going to be scrapping a small ship. No, we're going to try something that I've tried to attempt to record, but has failed thanks to Roblox shutting down the server, and it is the classic Titania. One thing I will probably do is break off the funnels and do something there. But for now, let's get to work. So, something I should mention before well, at least not before, but during these videos is that you gotta have sinking speed always set to 0, because if you don't, the ship will sink during the salvage if you hit a certain part in the upper hull. Of course, I recommend you also do this after you've done your dailies and the mega quest, like I've done. It won't affect your engagement, but let's get this ready. If I can actually jump on, because I thought I docked the ship. No, I got a better idea. We'll go aboard if we just take the crane ship. Now, part of it is connected in a way, but let's first, get aboard with some struggle. So the first order of business, we're gonna lift up we're probably gonna break off the funnel here, or then we're gonna lift off of course we're gonna lift off these funnels here, or better yet, we could do something else. So let me just have this on standby, and I will do something off camera. Alright, I'm back. As you can tell, I did more than just that. I did have to use explosives, so for the funnels, and you can tell there's a hole in the grand staircase, which granted, that was going to be broken up anyway, so never mind, it's part of the parts of the... Well, we don't have the chair up down here then. Guess that got destroyed when the funnel came down. Oh, and no dome either, okay. So once I get this broken up, then... Actually, I'm now wanting to ask. Was there ever a chair up on the classic Titania model, or... Ah, well, there probably wasn't. Or probably was, I'm being forgetful. So we gotta break up practically everything of this ship to the lower hull. So first order of business, we are gonna break up sections of the ship. But first, we are going to do the following. We're gonna break off the wheelhouse. At least from the rest of the ship. So breaking off equipment like so. Break up this here. Then we'll break up the floor down right there. Okay, and there's some grey bits there from... Try and get those up. Let me also break this off. So these were originally being used for the funnel up here, so I might as well break them off. Then we will lift off this area of the ship and scrap what we can. We'll now break off these here. We'll have to do it. We'll have to Actually, let's pick up this. So we don't have any steering to worry about now. So the vessel is currently being broken up. And hopefully we won't, end up losing... Well, actually, we're all going to be scrapping this stuff here, of course. Practically the whole ship has been broken up. Now, one thing I am considering using is the rods for certain parts. If we want to lift like a big piece, we're gonna like use a rod or something. Let's break up this, that. One of these. Let's go in here. I don't see any lights, but there may be loose materials. But we have what we need broken up. Let's do this now. Yeah, we have to break off the lower part of the bridge here. Actually, I need to check something. Do we have light bulbs? No, we don't have light bulbs. So that's good. We don't have to worry about those running around. Up in your virus, you can tell there's parts of the vessel out here that we will most likely recover later on during the sinking or during the scrapping. So you already know, since we have, the whole sinking speed off, they won't sink to the bottom of the sea. So next up, we break up this. First order of business, we are going to, of course, to break this area here. Is that your... Oh! Part of the wall there gave. Let me check over here. Look, this wall might... No, the wall I don't think is given out there either. Let me get more of this broken up, and we will lift this first section. Oh! Never mind! There it goes. Let's bring the crane around and lift off that first section of the ship. Okay, we now have the first section of superstructure off the ship. Time to lift it off and put it onto my ship. So now we gotta break off the rest of the floor there, and we'll lift off this. We'll have to gut this room entirely. Now, normally I'll break up like any furniture and all, but due to how much furniture is in this ship, I will most likely lift them up with the pieces as well, because, well, why not? That's apparently how this game works in a way. So, instead of breaking off the stuff from this room, I will break out the floor from underneath. It's gonna take me a while to do this. Oh, never mind, there goes part of the floor. Whoa! There goes the chair! Alright, next up is to break off the floor underneath. We're probably gonna have a whole bunch of this and then up below deck, but oh well. It's gonna have to do. Whoops, didn't mean to hit that, or that. Yep, but I think that was the first thing that just went down into the elevator shaft. Break this off. So, now we're gonna break up this piece here. It's okay. No, looks like I might have to do some more breaking up here for the floor. What else are you attached to? Let me look around. Are you also attached to this section of structure here? Okay, no. Oh, that might be it. Okay, let's check. Yeah, that's what it's also attached to. Alright, so let's lift up that section as well. Now, you may already know, I'm having to do this over here because, well, the cranes are taller on this end, and, well, the mast would, of course, get in the way. Though I think I could have also done over there, but, you know, we'll break it up what we can of the ship. So, right now, the ship is currently nearing its scrapping, or nearing its, having its superstructure entirely removed. I can click that last piece there. Okay, yeah. Put it there like so. Then we'll put it right there. We'll just lift it up like that. Actually, can I even activate the SOS right now? Oh, I can! Okay, so, what makes sense, of course, ship's creaking and groaning. So, next up, we're gonna lift up the remains of... We're gonna lift up what we can of this part of the superstructure. Then we will actually probably use explosives for the rest of the area here. Because this is all, you know, one material that we can't really... Actually, you know, I got a better idea. While that sits there, we're gonna do this. Yeah, this is what I meant. So it is going to do damage to the ship itself, of course. So we're going to have to be careful with this area here. As this is all solid material. So we're going to do that. And granted, it does mean we get more experience. Up in a collapse section. So let's break up this area here. Stick some explosives right there. Okay, there we go. We did some damage, of course. Now, like I said, since this area has more furniture, we are going to try and lift all this furniture up in one go. And, we got some loose wood. We'll break that up. So we damaged this. We kept the piano intact at least during the whole this whole thing. But last, we may have to do this. Okay, that's good. Okay, we now have to do the following. We're going to break off what's attached to the ship and break up what we need to break up. You can also see it's being supported by part of the lower sections of ships, so at least the lower parts of the not superstructure, the grand staircase here. All we're gonna do now is break up this entire thing and do what we can. We also gotta make sure it's not attached here too, so we're gonna break this wood here as a precaution too. Now, as far as I could see, it doesn't look like the back area here would have been attached. So right now, we're going to do the following. We're going to break the wood here. We're also going to break up a massive part. Actually, let's break up these pillars here in the middle. Because they could most likely also do the same. We should also break up the stairs here too. Because it could also be attached. Now, let's see. If I'm not mistaken, we still have some wall here to break down. Actually, or maybe support. If I can get down there, that'd be nice. So we're gonna have to break up this area here. Here's some of the ship's structure. And here's some more deck. Alright. There we go! There's the top half of the... There goes this section of the ship, at least of its superstructure. Oh wait, it's all attached. That's actually good. So, first order business, we are going to do what we gotta do. This is gonna be our biggest section, probably lifted off the ship. Now, I should mention this, but if you're planning to scrap this thing, turn off the splitting. Turn off splitting. That's literally what happened to me when I was, you know, scrapping this ship before for a previous video I have deleted, which had the video also show the ship ends up, you know, which, to explain in short, that video got deleted after Roblox said the server shut down at one time. Which sucks because, you know, I was nearly there. I had it down to the lower hull. And I nearly had it. We got probably too much stuff on deck. But, as you can see, we have one more section of superstructure to go. But first order of business, let's get these pieces off the ship. Or, off the crane ship. So that way, we don't have to worry about the, you know, room and all that. And we can also probably get to this area here. Now, this is a staircase, as you already know, so all we're gonna do here is break up what we can. And once we actually break up more sections of the Titania here, we'll make our way to the boiler rooms, lift those boilers out, and possibly get to the engine room, which I don't think this thing has an engine room. So I'll be right back once this is lifted off. Okay, we're back, or I'm back. As you can tell, the next section we're lifting off is this entire, you know, is what I can break up of this section here. So first thing we of course gotta do is break off the floor here. So we are... So next up we are breaking up what we can around here. Of course, you know, we need to raise up the ship, or at least this section of structure here. Alright, let's break off this area here. Up, we broke a piece of wood down there, but oh well. This thing is being broken up, of course, for scrap. So we are going to do what we need to do. so I say let's actually break off the area here. Because I know this part of the top of the elevator shaft is connected. So we need to break off this. Also gonna take off the wood paneling in certain areas. So... oh, it's so attached. Did the feather just shift? Okay, it did shift. We can lift it off now. And look at that. Another section of the Titania is lifted off. All we gotta do now is break off the wood here. Or break off these areas here and we'll be done. At least with the top part. We still got a while to go, of course. We gotta... now, let me go check something on the ship itself. I'm gonna go check below the... wait, I'll take the remaining stairs that aren't damaged by the scrapping and see if I can find if there's like an engine room. Nope, this is a cargo hold. So, if we break... so here's we got Scotland Road. And of course we got no pool area like that on the up-to-date Titania. Here's the boiler rooms, at least one of them. Then we got midships. Actually, no, wait a minute. Let's go back up here. So we got to break up, of course, this here too. But if we go on the other side, we got these boiler rooms to break up, which I think are below the cabins up there, top side. So if we get to those, we can just take out what we can. And let me also get rid of my lifeboat. Okay, we still got a piece of ship there that we can just break off as soon as we get back aboard. So first up, we need to position the crane ship to be exactly above those cabins right there. If we can lift off these cabins, up on it. There we go, we broke off the wall. Actually, I don't know why I'm even jumping into the water. Just jump onto here. So let's do the following. Yep, I was right. We're underneath the cabins. I think that's another part of the... yeah, I think that was another part of the ship's, cabin, not cabin area, the, up on the bridge. Which is currently over there. We need to break up what we can here. Alright, so next up we need to break up, we need to tear up the floor here. As I said, we're not going to break off, we're not going to break up, you know, the whole stuff here. We're just going to break up the, well, certain areas of the ship. Wait, guys, is that any other boiler? Yeah, it's over here. So we break off the bed and we say goodbye, ship. As this area here is torn up and the chairs fall. Let's also break off these. I know these are also supports. Well, I do know they're for the boilers. But we have kind of no choice but to break them off. Okay, okay, we broke off that. That. We also broke off these and these. Yeah, there goes that. I think the ship is... I think the cabin's up there detached from the rest of the ship. I don't know why we even went that way, though. But also, let's detach it from here, because I know we gotta do that. That. Some of this. And let's break off these here. Do we got all of it off? Or are we still attached? Oh, we might still be attached because of the wood up here. Yeah, we gotta definitely do some more lifting up. Yep, and there goes the cabins. Let's actually break off the wood here. Let's raise up more sections here. And let's bring these up. Oh wait a minute, I have an idea. Okay, let me try and get up. Okay, if I get back onto the ship, I can also reattach some furniture onto this boiler room. Because some stuff from up top side just came down here. Okay, there we go. Now let's get ready to lift. There we go! And look at that, the first boiler room is also exposed. But we're not going to focus on... We might actually have to lift those off later on. Let me see if I can actually put this down a little bit better. So let's put it on top like that. Okay, are we detached? Yeah, we're detached. So, now we gotta do the following. We can either bring up the boilers, or we can, break off the, or break off what we can involved in the, you know, we can break off what we can, you know, involving, well, the superstructure here, of course. We're just gonna break this up. So we're gonna break off this area here, and most likely we'll have to tear down these walls. Up, there goes that. So let's break off this here. Because, you know, it's gonna be broken off anyway, some way, somehow. And I'm guessing we might need to have to use explosives on this section. Yeah, I figured. That's a hull... That's thicker material, so we're gonna have to use explosives. So we're going to break off the floor here at the bow. section, I think we'll actually break off Scotland Road down there. At least certain areas. So first of all, we're going to break off that there, then this, and then we're going to break up this and that. Yes, at this point we're going to break off Scotland Road and all that, while we go down and break off the top section of the ship here. So let's bring the ship to, let's break it up and get it ready. Of course, there's part 4 here. So this is the first sections of the ship's upper hull that's coming down. Let's also break off these here, because, well, why not? I'm gonna have to take them off anyway, so the vessel doesn't, you know. Much more so we can do what we gotta do here. Timber. Okay, there goes that. Next up, we're actually gonna break up. Actually, yeah, let's break up the mast. So, if we break up the mast here. There we go. The first mast is gone, and the second mast will probably come later. One thing I'm actually thinking of doing is we break up parts of the ship while, you know, we lift this up in one go, actually. Oh, we didn't break up all the mast. This is part here. So we're now going to break off this area here. Goes another section of ship. Okay, there's more Scotland Road being broken up here, of course. Next up, we are going to break off this. Now we also got to break off the staircase there. Alright, I think it's actually still attached to the ship. Specifically, the staircase here. Or at least the wood behind it, which is thicker. But not too thick to worry about. Yeah, it was attached to that. Alright, let's bring the ship out and lift off that, you know, those elevators. Okay. Okay, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this. So I'll be lifting up what I can here involving the ship as quickly as I can. So let me get the ropes on. Alright, let's lift it up now. And there it goes, the elevator shaft. And what would be the elevators if the Titania model had any. This is one of two sections we have lifted off the Titania. And keyword, and hopefully, and I mean hopefully, we don't have to end up doing anything else involving the vessel. Let's take off these ropes. It's kind of caught here, but that might be good for a while, only a little while. There could be a possibility this may fall, but I'm pretty sure where it's sitting that won't be a worry. Alright, next up will be the grand staircase, the stairs, right there. And maybe the cabins actually while we're here. So, I'll be right back once I got everything prepared for lifting. Good news, we have what we need to lift off the ship. As you can tell, a little bit of damage there happened in the upper hull, but that's expected as we are going to be, you know, needing to break off what we can. Oh look, there's part of the ship's structure there, in the water. I had to break off on accident. Up, there goes the elevator. Nope, we don't want that. Bring it up, bring it up. Okay, let's do recovery now. We need to recover the fallen section of ship, which is that section down there. The deck is kind of cluttered, so we may have to bring up a more section, or at least bring up what we can. Let's bring it up. Okay, that might make it more loose. Never mind. I'll break this section off here. Things that I know what this is. It came from the grand staircase, and we were breaking it up. Where'd that go? Oh well. Well, it'll be fine. Oh yeah, there's a chair over there. It's just sitting in the shallow water. Just sitting in the shallow waters. Holy crap. Oh, well. Next up, we need to get prepared for breaking up this entire section here. So, of course, like last time, I will, just cut out this part where you're watching me break up every single piece here. Of course, the furniture are going to be still on the walls and all that, because, you know, save up time and all that. I'm back, so good news, I was able to do some more demolition work. As you can see, we did have to break off the walls of the superstructure here to lift up the sections, and next up we are lifting these pieces up the boat onto here, and something I should mention is, I think there's still a chair down here from the previous deck. Yeah, I forgot a chair, but we can get that later on. So right now, I'm actually gonna bring... Yeah, I'm gonna put these down here like so. And we are going to do the following. Next up is breaking up the dining room. Then we'll break up... We'll actually see if we can lift up the back end of the superstructure here in one go. So let's back up. And let's get it ready. I think the first thing we'll try and lift up, actually, let's move forward a tad bit more. Let's bring up the, you know, let's try and bring up the piano. And some of the wall there. Also need to check something. I'll be back. Okay, we are now going to try and break up what we can of the walls here. So we need to break off this long pillar bit, which will take us a while to break off. So, well, it's going to have to be done. We'll break up the floor around here. Of course, tearing it up. And we'll expose underneath more boilers. Or at least one of the boilers. There we go! Whoops, didn't mean to attach it there. Whoops. I accidentally I attached it to the thing. Oh well. Alright. Next, we'll bring it all up. Now here's something I actually want to try and do. Bring up the big walls here. So cut off the part here, break and lift up this whole section. That vessel's creaking and groaning there, I can tell you what. So, let's actually connect the ship to these the wooden decks I forgot to destroy. Also, I don't know why it's bouncing up and down like that. Guessing it might be loose debris on the ship. So let's connect it here like so. Then we will connect it here. After that, we will connect over here. Oh, here's another one of these things. Now we break up this. I don't know why, but I don't know what, if it's me or if it looks like it's a mushroom shape right there. Of course, we gotta break off this beam here. And actually, I'll be right back. I'll cut out where I'm breaking off the floor here so y'all don't have to see me break it all up and all that. Okay, I'm back. As you can see here, we removed more sections of the ship. We moved the superstructure areas here. We also moved some of the lower hull. Next up, I think we're going to remove is the boilers here. I think we're also leaving the floors, actually, so we destroy that with the lower hull. Nope, didn't mean to hit that. So, here comes our first boiler. So, we'll put some tension on that. Didn't mean to do that. Let's do that. We have the first boiler being lifted up now. Look at that. The first boiler is gone off the ship. Now we have more boilers to remove. We also have cabins, which I think will also be destroyed in the lower hull. Let's lift it up here and break off these next. You can tell the stuff in the water we have yet to collect. Let's try and get down onto the ship. Let's get all this off, then I think we will destroy the rest of this. Of course, cutting it out, so y'all don't have to watch all these walls come down as we destroy them on ship instead of taking them all from the ship itself. I thought they could just hit the table over there. Anyways, I'll be back. Alright, so as you can tell, explosives are being used rather early on, so that's what is actually what we're going to use. We're blowing up the ship with the explosives, as that is now the plan. I would have left this stuff, but knowing Roblox, they may shut down, claim the servers are shutting down again like they've done before. To cause this scrapping to look this video to be scrapped. So we are actually going to blow up the rest of it. Didn't mean to do that. Let's drag this here. we go. There it goes, classic Titania. It's, of course, a whole mess of parts. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Make sure to have a good day or night. Depends when you're watching this video. See you next time. Bye.